You are standing on the cliffs of Holy Island, watching the sunrise spill across the North Sea. The year is 793 after Christ. You are a nun. Your name is Sister Hild. You are 23 years old. For the past 6 years, this monastery has been your entire world: prayer, manuscripts, silence, and safety. Around you, the other sisters begin their morning devotions. Sister Gelswith, the eldest at 54, gently instructs the younger novices in the art of illuminating manuscripts. Sister Edith is already awake in the herb garden, her hands damp with morning dew. From the kitchen comes the smell of bread baking, mixing with incense and sea salt carried on the wind. This is the most sacred place in Northumbria. Kings are buried here. Scholars travel from across Christendom to study in the library. The monastery holds illuminated gospels worth a king's ransom. You feel safe here, protected by God and by the sea. Then everything changes. Sister Mildred, posted on the wall to keep watch, suddenly screams. If you believe that the most terrifying moments in human history must be remembered, consider liking this video and subscribing. Your support helps uncover accounts that were buried for centuries. Look to the horizon. Shapes begin to form in the morning mist. Not one ship, not two, 7 longships. Their dragon-headed prows cut through the water like blades. The monastery bells begin to ring the alarm. You have heard stories, whispers from traders about raiders from the north. But those were only stories. This is not a story. Thins. The ships grind onto the sand below the monastery. Men spill out, unlike any you have ever seen. Tall, broad, bearded, carrying axes that flash in the early light. Abbot Senbert shouts orders. The younger sisters are rushed inside. Monks slam wooden bars across the doors. Others scramble to hide the most valuable manuscripts. There are 31 nuns in the monastery, 47 monks, perhaps 200 raiders. The numbers are unforgiving. The Vikings reach the doors within minutes. The wooden barriers, strong enough to keep out wolves and storms, splinter under the force of men who have spent their lives breaking shield walls. The doors collapse. You have spent 6 years in prayer and contemplation. The most violent thing you have ever witnessed was an argument over copying technique. Now armed men flood your sanctuary. Brother Cuthbert, 62 years old, steps forward clutching a wooden crucifix as if it were a weapon. He is cut down before he can speak. The axe nearly severs his head. Blood sprays across the stone floor where you have knelt every morning for 6 years. This is your first lesson in Viking warfare. According to the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, the Vikings' goal was not immediate slaughter. They wanted fear. They wanted information. Where is the gold, the relics, the treasures? Monks who resist are killed instantly. Their bodies are left where they fall as a warning. The sisters and the surviving monks are herded into the church like animals. You kneel on the cold stone floor, surrounded by 31 sisters and perhaps 20 monks. The Vikings speak a language you have never heard: harsh, guttural, nothing like the Latin you studied for years. One of them is clearly in command, massive, his beard braided with silver rings. Later sagas may call him Jarl Sigfred, though the name is disputed. He walks slowly among you, studying faces. Then he points. Sister Gloveswith, the eldest, is dragged to the altar. The Vikings have learned that monks will often die rather than reveal sacred hiding places, so they do not threaten the monks. They threaten the sisters. The leader speaks. You do not understand his words, but Brother Edred, who will later survive and record this event, understands clearly. Reveal the treasure, or witness what happens to those who keep secrets. Sister Gloveswith spits at his feet. Vord follows is recorded only in fragments, later compiled by Simeon of Derham. The Vikings strip her on the altar itself, the most sacred place in the monastery. The act is deliberate, symbolic. She is beaten methodically, while the other sisters are forced to watch. Minutes stretch into something timeless. Finally, Brother Edred breaks. He reveals the location of the treasury beneath the crypts. Sister Galswith dies 2 hours later from her injuries, still lying on the altar where she once gave communion. This is the Vikings' opening statement. But the treasury is only the beginning. The raiders do not leave. They stay 3 days. 3 days of calculated exploitation. They separate the survivors. Elderly monks are killed. Slaves. Younger monks are bound for labor or ransom. The sisters are divided by age and appearance. You are 23. In Viking terms, you have sellable value. Captured women serve three purposes in Viking culture: slavery, sexual exploitation, and trade. Often all three. The oldest sisters and the youngest novices are taken first to the dormitories. Those, like you, are kept under guard in the church. By the second day, the monastery is stripped bare. Gold chalices, silver reliquaries, jewels torn from illuminated manuscripts. The sacred words mean nothing to them, the gold does. Centuries of scholarship are burned, scattered, trampled into the mud. But the sisters remain. Contemporary sources describe what happens next only obliquely, using phrases like humiliation and violation beyond death. Medieval chroniclers who wrote openly about executions could not bring themselves to describe this in detail. On the second night, the Vikings hold a victory feast in the Great Hall. The younger sisters are forced to serve food and drink to the men who murdered their brothers. Then the warriors begin to claim their prizes. The leader chooses first, then his closest warriors, then the rest, according to rank and reputation. Your legs shake so badly you can barely stand. A Viking grabs your arm, his hand rough from rowing and sword work, and pulls you toward the doorway. Sister Edith, 19 years old, begins screaming. A blow silences her. The sound echoes off the stone walls. Some sisters break completely. They stop speaking. They go rigid. They must be dragged. Sister Mildred, the one who first saw the ships, throws herself from the cliff into the sea. The Vikings do not stop her. They laugh. Over the next 2 days, what happens is systematic, not chaotic. Raiders enter the dormitories in shifts. Some sisters are claimed by individual warriors. Others are treated as communal spoils. By the third day, several sisters are dead not from immediate violence, but from injuries, exposure, and shock. Cloistered bodies are not built to survive this. Sister Morwen, 17, dies during the second night. Her body is dragged outside and thrown with the murdered monks. No burial, no prayer. On the fourth morning, June 11th, 793, the Vikings prepare to leave, but they are not leaving alone. They gather the surviving sisters and younger monks in the courtyard. They inspect them like livestock: teeth, limbs, strength. Abbess Sembert tries to protect the younger sisters. She is struck with the haft of an axe. Her skull fractures. She is left alive, barely conscious. Not worth the space. Out of 31 sisters, 12 are chosen. The youngest, the healthiest, the most valuable. You are one of them. The ships launch at high tide. As they pull away, the monastery burns. Smoke rises like a black pillar. The stone church survives. Everything else is ash. The voyage to Scandinavia takes nearly 2 weeks. Captives are kept below deck, exposed to spray and cold. Food is minimal. Abuse continues. 2 sisters die during the journey. Another tries to throw herself overboard. She is restrained. Dead merchandise has no value. Men. When the ships dock at a Norwegian port, likely Kopang, you are dragged ashore. You can barely stand. Norse townspeople stare. Women, children, merchants. You are proof of success. The Christian nuns stumbling through a pagan town. The slave market is efficient. Christian captives are prized. Some are sold to farms, where life expectancy is short. Some to households, some as concubines. You are examined like an animal. Teeth, hair, gait. You are sold for 12 ounces of silver, less than a good sword. You are chained with other women from other raids. This is where your story vanishes from the record. Most of the Lindisfarne sisters disappear here. No names, no graves, no accounts. One fragmentary record, possibly from a survivor, tells of a woman sold 3 times over 7 years, beaten regularly, eventually abandoned when she became too sick to be useful. She made it back to England and died at 32. The raid on Lindisfarne changed everything. It announced the Viking Age. Across Europe, people prayed. From the fury of the Northmen, "Deliver us, O Lord!" Monasteries built walls, villages fled inland. Fear arrived before the ships. The sisters of Lindisfarne were not warriors. They were scholars, gardeners, singers of hymns. They were destroyed not for who they were, but for what they represented. This was not chaos, it was policy. The monastery still stands today. You can visit Holy Island. It is peaceful now, beautiful too, but if you stand on those cliffs at dawn and listen carefully, some say you can still hear the bells ringing, the alarm echoes of prayers spoken by women whose names